Hello everybody, welcome back to Commonwealth Flipper. Welcome to the cabin here. I think we have a great show. We're appreciative you stopped by, but I have been getting some messages from some folks that I can only describe as desperate. They need to get sales, they need to get stuff sold. They've got way too much stuff, they're not selling enough, and all kinds of things like that over the last couple of days. So I want to talk about that a little bit, and I'm kind of in the same situation. A little bit different, but I want to talk about that and some really cool stuff that sold today. Let's go take a look. And look who I got waiting in here for me. You guys have been in here for 20 minutes and you're just sleeping and you haven't got anything out of the plush bin. I'm impressed. Yeah, aren't you proud? Hi, Soph. And here's what I'm talking about in my situation. It doesn't match all these messages, but you saw this jean bin and it was full. And then we sold off a giant lot of jeans on shopcommons.net. And look, I had to start using this bin here because we ran out of space, and now I've sold something down here. And it doesn't make much of a dent because this is a multi-quantity item. But we sold one of these Stone Cold vintage bandanas right here. What did this one go for? This is on 30% off, and so this is part of our measures to get stuff gone even before Q4. $18.20 for that one plus shipping. I gotta tell you, some of the messages can be a little bit sad to read sometimes, and I feel for a lot of folks out there, everything from, you know, medical bills to we can't meet the mortgage, and they're resellers or part-time resellers, and they count on that income. And this time of year can be rough for some folks, and they're asking questions, you know, what can I do? All I can tell you is the things that I typically do when I get in this situation, and I am in this situation for space. One of the messages was about space in particular. And you can see my home bins and auto part bins, and all these bins are super full right now. And so we have absolutely got to start moving some merchandise. And it's not necessarily because sales are slower than normal this time of year for us. They're about normal. But we've been listing like crazy trying to get ready for Q4, and we are absolutely running out of space. This particular gentleman who sent me a message about space says he's resorted to doing auctions on eBay, and he's not happy with the results. These are like wooden dumbbells from the 1920s, and they're kind of cool. And I was surprised to see I bought them really cheap, and they had decent value. $32 plus shipping. So I want to talk about some options, some things that I'm doing, but I also want to get your opinion out there, and maybe you can help some of these folks out a little bit as well. This particular person said they started to do auctions on items. And when they started the process, they just put whatever the item was at 99 cents. And they said the great majority of the items sold at 99 cents plus shipping, and they were previously listed for 20 or 30 bucks. And he's like, you know, how could that be? And that is not something I advocate for, unless it's something that has intrinsic value like gold or silver or something like that. People will bid that stuff up quickly. But sometimes if it's a low sell-through rate item and people just aren't looking for it, there's not enough people who are looking for it at all. And if they are looking for it, they're not willing to wait for that auction to end. So I don't suggest it. I even don't suggest people putting something at an auction. Let's say you had it listed for 30 bucks and you put an auction at $9.99. You might not even get a bid. The auction process on eBay isn't nearly as robust as it used to be in particular type of items. So I don't know if I'd suggest that either. I've told this story many times. Back when I started 24 years ago, I would auction jeans. I would go to Goodwill, fill up bags full of jeans, start them all at 99 cents plus whatever shipping, because back then you didn't have to pay the fees on the shipping, so I'd bolster that up. And I'd get it to the point where even if it sold for 99 cents, I'd break even. I'm sure that sounds insane to some people who started this game late, but shoot, I would pick up jeans for, I think they were $2 or $2.50 or something back in the day at Goodwill. And some of the jeans would go crazy. They'd get 30, 40 bucks. So I'd make money just on volume. It was really good. Sold these bean boots right here. I picked these up for $5 down in North Carolina, coming home from the 300 mile, or the endless yard sale, I guess is what it's called. These sold for $35.96 plus shipping. Perfect time of year, of course, to sell those right there. So tell me your experiences You know, some people might argue, well, if it's a high sell-through rate item, then yeah, you can sell it on auction and get it sold and whatever. And that's true. But if it's a high sell-through rate item, you just have to be at the market or be just a tiny bit below the market, and you should get the sale. So how many of y'all are having good experiences with auctions right now? For me, I'll do it from time to time. Of course, we do it on the Inaman, but that's just about it. Gold and silver are the kind of items that I would do it on, like this. I need to get this thing weighed and pictured and get this thing listed. I think I'm just going to do it at $1 and weigh it and show people. So that's one thing. Of course, oh, well, this is out of place in the video, but let's go ahead and do it before I forget. We are starting our 50/50 charity auctions early. We won't be doing the rest of them for another month or so. But if you're new to the channel, we do those every Q4 and raise money for one of the kids' 4 charities. I decided to do it early this year on dibdit.com for this because I've never done a static or an auction like this. I've done one live, but I've never done one for all 3, the number 1, the number 2, and the number 3. And half of the money is going to go to one of the 4 charities. They're listed in the auction, and you can choose, if you win, you can choose which charity you want the kids to donate to. Turner just came in here and told me, well, he was excited. One of his favorite players, Malik Willis, the 3rd-string quarterback for the Titans, just got traded. Only Turner would care about the 3rd-string quarterback for somebody. But to the Packers, so Blue Ridge Mom will be happy. All right, back to the topic here. So for me, I don't do that. My strategy, and it's very different, right? If you're in a situation where it's a money issue and you got to get stuff sold, there are some options, and I want to talk about that in a second. For some folks, some immediate options, especially if you're in a good network of people to get stuff sold. It may not be what you want to get out of it, but it certainly can probably at least be what you paid for it or a little bit more locally, and we'll talk about that. But for me, it's a space issue. And so I've talked about the 30% off, and I don't run them all of the time, but I have really, really started to run that 30% off sale for every item, even some of the multi-quantity items that have been in the store for over 250 days. I don't do the staggered approach. It's probably right for most people. 10% off after this day, 20% off, 30% off. To me, it's just too many stages in it and too much work. I'd rather just wait for 250 days, 30% off, and just put it out. And we're selling stuff. So this sold at 30% off. There's a bunch. I think there's 5 or 6 things that are going out of here today that have been in the store a long time and are going out at 30% off. If you're buying right, 30% off, you're still making an okay profit on those things. So I'm happy with that because obviously the new stuff you're listing is getting sales at full price or close to it. Here is a fairly large one that I'm happy is gone. It's a vintage Minnie Mouse. I think it's Minnie Mouse sleeping bag. And that one sold just newly listed too. So that makes me happy and gets rid of a little bit of space, as well as the next one, $23.70 plus shipping. So there's the other strategy, of course, and this is nothing new. I'm not telling most people anything that they don't already know, but listen, this is a tough time to sell. Before I tell you about how this one sold, this is a tough time to sell because people are still recuperating, getting those credit card statement maybe for their vacations in the summer, and looking forward and knowing what's coming with Christmas and then taxes and all the stuff that goes on. So it's not the easiest time to sell. It will start to get better. It should already be getting better. I had 2 really, really slow days for me over the last weekend. And I'm like, man, this is brutal. And then all of a sudden popped. And I'm really happy about that. So this one got a 5% offer. I don't care what it is. Newly listed, not newly listed. 95% of the items that I'm able to send an offer, I send an offer. And I send it for 5%. It's not much, but it usually results in a couple of sales. I don't care if it's new or old. Now, sometimes what I'll do with the older ones, I'll check that list. And if it's something that is, let's say it's been listed for 150 days, I hadn't even hit my 30% off sale time yet. Listed for 150 days, I'll look at it. It's like, if that thing is big and I need the space, I might do 10, 15% off and send that offer separate than the rest of the things on there. Even some of the things that are already 30% off, there's a good enough margin in it, and forget the margin. If I just want it gone, I'll send a 10% offer on top of the 30% that's out there just to get stuff gone, because you can't be storing stuff for 3 and 4 years all the time. And it has really helped on those slow days. If I have a slow day of sales or something, I'll get in there and look like, okay, I can send out 13 offers. I'm going to send them out. Here's another one that I was really happy to see come across the board because, as you can see, the bins are full. We have eliminated a couple. And these are 511 tactical, well used, but not in terrible condition. And so we put a good price on them because there's not much space left over there. And they sold quickly at full price for 30 bucks plus shipping. And to me, it seems pretty clear that there's a lot of folks out there who aren't willing to buy until they get that offer. They have caught on to the fact that if you go hard something and all that stuff, you're probably going to get an offer and you'll get it a little bit cheaper. There's a lot of folks out there like that. And I feel like sending offers is even more important than it's ever been before. We can argue if it's good or bad, but it certainly is something that I see a ton and I hear from a lot of people as well. I've been hearing a lot of folks complaining as well about the send offer and people not paying. I tell you what, that problem is significantly decreased for me over the years. On my regular items, I require immediate payment as well. But tell me if you're experiencing a lot of that out there lately. Glad to see some Tupperware selling. I don't know what it is about these. You see, I have a lot of these old marinator things and the bacon keepers and meat keepers and all that. But the marinade ones seem to sell. I don't buy them as much as I used to. It has to be in good condition already. No flaws. It's got to be like $1 or I'm not picking it up. But I still come across some for $1, so I pick them up. And that one sold fairly quickly. $14.95 plus shipping. Super easy to ship these. So $1 into 15 in no time at all makes it just worth it for me. Another thing that I do often and I'm just about ready to do on a lot of stuff is bundle. And if you bundle stuff, if you want to try an auction, you're better off doing it on a bundle than you are on something else because a reseller might buy it on eBay or a collector because they can get a better deal on it. But of course, you do want to get the most out of items that you know can sell fairly quickly before you do that. But that's definitely, I mean, just look at these toy bins here. I've got just tons of toys in there. If you find the like item, I know I have like 5 or 6 different individual wrestlers, bags of wrestlers. I could bundle all of that together because it's the same type of stuff and probably get a sale a little quicker for less money. But hey, it solves the problem if it's a financial one or a space one or whatever it is. Buck Rogers, plus you don't make other resellers mad by undercutting the market, right? Buck Rogers in the 25th century Killer Kane model doll. This one sold for 40 bucks plus shipping. And I picked that one up at an estate sale just a couple of weeks ago. And I paid up for a bunch of stuff, but I knew there was some money in it, so I was willing to do it. Where I probably am into that one for like 10 bucks, which is a lot. But hey, you sold it for 40 and you sold it quick, so I'm okay with that. You know, one thing you could do is stop buying. Just, you know, obviously, if you've got too much, and most people probably have already done this, but stop buying for a couple of weeks and just focus on those listings. Focus on maybe even delisting items. I've done that lately, and I've got a couple of sales out of it, by the way, where I've gone to my oldest listings that didn't even sell in the 30% off sale. And I go and I look at comps, I'm like, well, this is why it's not selling. And so you got to reduce the price on some items from time to time as well. And one item I actually sold, I increased the price because there was a mistake in the listing and the market went up on them. So you can do that stuff too. And then there's items like this. This has been around. If you've been watching this channel for a while, you've seen this thing sitting here for a very, sometimes it sits over here. I move it around from time to time. This was an item I got at a sale last summer. And there was nothing out there like it, and I just made up a comp for it, and I got some action on it, but nobody ever bought it. Well, it hit the 30% off sale, and apparently somebody wants an Eeyore deviled egg thing, because you just don't see them out there. And at 30% off, somebody grabbed it for $41.97. This was free. After I made the whole bundle deal, he's like, just take it. So that's pretty good, $42 free ship plus shipping. And now I have a little space there. Actually, you know what? This is out of order. But I'm going to put this right here because this is going to be the deal of the day. If you are old like me, you recognize Muttley, the sidekick of what's that guy's name? Dastardly? Dick Dastardly? The Hanna-Barbera character. I've never picked up a plush like this. And I paid, what'd I pay? 50 cents? $1? I can't remember. But I'm making it the deal of the day because I love Muttley so much. I have a Muttley t-shirt from 80stees.com. That's not a paid ad, by the way. But I just thought I'd throw it in for free. So that one right there, I put over there, I think for $8.99. It weighs a pretty good amount. It weighs over a pound. So shipping's like $6 something. That's on dipit.com for deal of the day. This sold on the last deal of the day. If you watch that video, it was funny because I thought there were 7. There's actually 6 dwarves, so I had to put it over there super cheap. I think they're pencil toppers, but I'm not quite sure. But the 6 dwarves sold, and I put them over there deal of the day. $2.95 plus shipping. And it's never a good sign when you're starting to put stuff on the floor, especially in a room like this where you could get some water. I got these things, I put them on clearance. I've done all kinds of stuff to make sure I relisted these. Things start to move, but some of the new stuff's selling too, which is good. So these are those neighbor kids I talked about, and this one sold. How cool are these things, by the way? And this one sold right here. So now 3 of the 5 have sold so far. Got 2 left. The dogs are coming back for some more treats. So this one, I think I paid $100. Shout out Death Pile Picker, by the way. You think I got space issues? He's got so many issues. That's why I love picking with him, because he's picky now, because he's just got no room for anything. And so he saw these first, and he's like, nah, you get them. I'm like, sweet. So these right here were, I think I paid $100 for all 5. This one alone covered my cost, and maybe a tiny bit of profit, because it sold for $130 plus shipping. The other one, the first one I sold, I think sold, is up for $54.95 or $46.95, I can't remember. And then this one right here sold for $50 plus shipping. So we're already profiting close to $100. Still have 2 more to go on these neighbor kids, but this one was great because it was given away at like a Christmas party, and there was only 50 of them. And so I put that one way high, and it sold pretty quick. Maybe I should have put it higher, but they are pretty darn cool. I turned the camera on to let you watch these dogs run around. They were running around, and then I turned the camera on and they stopped. There they go. And my purse bins are also full at this point. Now, I think we have all the purses listed, so it's not the end of the world. I don't mind being at capacity before Q4. I just don't want to be over capacity. And I did buy quite a few purses. This one just got in here, obviously, at the 127. Normally, those highway sales will have Vera Bradley for $10, $15 and stuff like that. But I was able to find a bunch of good stuff, not just Vera Bradley, but other purses for like $1. And this was one I had never seen before. It was Kipling. Hey, Grammy's here. And Kipling sold, let me get Grammy. I can't leave her out there. All right, Grammy brought some cake by for the family. So that was really nice. And I gave her something that I bought for her at a yard sale. So it's a good trade, I think. I think she's happy. Kipling is a brand I've never bought before. And I had no idea that it had a little bit of value. Kind of like along the Vera Bradley line of value. But it was in great shape, and it had this cool little monkey on it as well. And I saw it at a sale, but there was no signal at that particular sale. I should have just grabbed it because it was $1, but I'm just like, ah. And so, since it was a highway sale, we actually went up the road to buy those neighbor kids, and when we came back, I'm like, yeah, let me go grab that thing real quick. And I'm glad I did, because $1 turned into $30 plus shipping. And this one went to a viewer, and I find the message kind of funny with it, but let me read it to you. So this one went to Kelly, and she says, Kevin, I finally found how to put a note on something. So yeah, if you want me to read something when you purchase the item, note to seller. And she said she finally figured it out. She's not tech savvy, but she got it figured out. The monkey was has a very special meaning to me and my daughter. I had to have it. You rock. So she bought the bag for the monkey. I would have never thought that, but I'm glad we left it on there. It did match the bag. Now I just need to get approved for the lots. I have lots to offer to others at good prices. So I assume you're talking about shopcommons.net. And of course, Dave and Carrie tell me I talk about it too much. So I haven't mentioned that as an option, but since you did, I can get away with it. I'll tell you this, a lot of people apply over there and we reject almost everybody. And the reason is simple. We really want people to understand what's going on and what the point of it is, and bring lots that allow a margin for the buyer. And it's a struggle to make sure that happens. But one way we do that is if you don't put in your application that you have read through all the guidelines, you have to post a video. You know, there's different, one tag and only one tag. Read through that whole thing, and then there's a video of me on Garage Sale Nation attached at the end of the community guidelines. If you watch that video and read those guidelines and put in your application that you've done that, and then give examples of the kind of lots you'd like to bring, you stand a way better chance of getting approved. We're trying to protect it for buyers, for sellers, and for me, because I've said this before, I'm a little bit hesitant to do this to begin with because I didn't want people complaining, well, I bought this lot over here and I can barely make money on it. So we're trying to make it work for buyers and sellers. So far, it's been working great. There's been 18 sales today as we speak on that site, which is really, really cool. And one of them is mine, so that's even more cool. And we had another shoe sale, which is awesome. I'm so happy. We used to have 6 shoe bins in here, and we got it down to 4 by putting some on discount, 30% off, and by putting an entire bin of shoes over on Shop Commons, where we made a little bit of money, but not a ton. But at least we got to a more manageable position where we could fit some more stuff in here. So these are kids' Jordans. They're nothing amazing, but I paid just $3 and they sold for $31.30 plus shipping on a 5% offer. I was able to grab some more stuff out of here. Most of my camo's inside, but that bin even filled up, so we had to go out here. And I sold a giant camo lot over on Shop Commons, and then I dug these out of the death pile. So I'm like, well, I guess those are already sold. We're going to list them over here because I don't have enough for another lot. And they were the same size, one in worse condition than the other. These are pretty good. So we just put them out there for a little over what one would go for, because the other one wasn't in great condition, and we sold them for $22.46 plus shipping. So we've talked about a couple reasons why right now, this particular time period isn't the best time of the year to sell. And we'll throw one on that doesn't even necessarily have to do with the time of the year, although it does correspond to an election year. Y'all, a lot of times in election years, for whatever reason, either side gets nervous about, oh, is my side going to win? And if they think their side doesn't win, it's the apocalypse, and the vice versa. And they get nervous to spend money. And it's not a huge portion of the population, but there are, you know, just any kind of pressure kind of hurts overall sales. And you're also seeing a lot of folks returning stuff right now as well for the same reasons. So hopefully you're not getting too many of those. I have one going on right now, and I hope that's all I have, knock on wood. This is like a flask. It's a fire hydrant flask. And this is one of those list it, got a watcher, send an offer, or multiple watchers, send an offer, and it sells. $14.20 plus shipping. This one went to a viewer. So thank you. Never mind about finding out what song the fire hydrant plays. I'm buying it anyways. P.S. I love your channel and your family. Bobby, thank you. We appreciate it, and I hope you enjoy that. And maybe I can figure out what kind of song. He sent me a message saying, hey, what kind of song does it play? Because it plays something. And I didn't have an answer for him, so I'm going to see if I can figure it out. I'm not sure. Y'all tell me. Got no idea what that is. Here's another little item. I could not resist picking up Darkwing Duck, even though it's probably only like a $6, $7 item. But it was a quarter. I'm like, I'm not leaving it, so maybe that'll be the next deal of the day. I dipped it. Sold some He-Man stuff, and one person bought 3 different ones, and I don't think they're a viewer. I think they're just a buyer, but maybe, I don't know. Chad, I'm going to say thank you. He bought this He-Man right here, and I have a lot of He-Man back there, because a lot of them sell, and then they don't really sell. I don't think, oh, you know what? There's a book to that one, and it goes right up here. That He-Man's been sitting there for a while. And the He-Man went out on 30% off. The other 2 did not. $50.86 plus shipping for all 3. You got the book with that one. And see if I can find the other 2 back there. Stratos and Stonedar. This is where I keep a lot of the He-Man stuff, which we had tons of it, and it's dwindled down, except for that one lot. I keep that one separate, but I got a He-Man lot out there. I can't put it in there, because that's where normally I'd put it, because Sophie's there. We'll see. I don't see them in here. I don't see the ones I'm looking for. Yeah, there's one I'm looking for right there. Where's Stonedar? There it is over here. I knew it was sitting up somewhere. I thought it was on that shelf. So that still hasn't sold. That's a sweet Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle. But these guys are all headed out. So very cool. Speaking of shopcommons.net, I sold 40 t-shirts over there, mostly graphic tees and stuff like that. I think there's a few vintage in there for $60 plus shipping. I came across this one at the 127 sale. It's a Hug-a-Bunch, and I love Hug-a-Bunches. There's another one right there. And this one, I sold it pretty darn cheap, and I did it on purpose because it's missing the baby inside, and I got it for a quarter, and I'm like, somebody will want that. probably a viewer, and I don't think a viewer bought it, but there's the baby that should go with it, but I could not leave it behind for a quarter, and we sold it cheap. We sold it for $11 plus shipping, about half as much. If you have the baby, you get double. So one of the people was having to move unexpectedly, and they had to get rid of everything fast, and they had like 2 weeks. They're trying to, you know, sell everything they can for, you know, as much as they can. Dawn and Carrie are actually doing this right now, and they have discounted a lot of their eBay stuff 50% because they're moving, and a lot of it's moving. But they're taking a multi-pronged effect. They've even sold some on Shop Comments. They are selling on Dibdit Live. They're getting less than they would, but they're getting okay money, and it's going quickly. They're selling on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and pretty good stuff as well. So, you know, there's all kind. They're going to sell locally as well, especially that dumb Spider-Man standing behind you, Carrie. Sorry, had to tease. So, you know, there's all kinds of strategies, but I can tell you right now, one of the best things if you find yourself in a situation where you got to sell a ton of stuff is to have a good local network, a reseller that will buy a big chunk of it off of you for what you paid for it even, in order to get rid of it. So let me know your ideas and comments when those situations come up, or if you've been through this situation before and what you did about it. Of course, for some of the stuff, you could do a yard sale and get basically back what you paid for it, or maybe a flea market. But, you know, there's all kinds of solutions out there. Let me know what you think. This one had a little issue with it. It would have sold last year, I think, but it had that little issue right there. So we just sold it for $16.80. It's nice to see a fall item headed out of here, plus shipping. Here's a nice one that sold because it's kind of big. Some surround sound speakers. These sold on 30% off. They've been around a while. So $28.80 plus shipping. But I bought a bunch of this stuff, so it is pure profit. My beautiful wife told me there's chicken and mashed potatoes, so I better hurry up. The beautiful thing with this is it's pre-packaged with styrofoam. And we sold a WCW NWO decal, $7.66. That one went to a viewer. Those do good for stocking stuffers. They sell good this time of year. Howdy, Commonwealth Picker. Just wanted to purchase this in the hopes I can end up in a video. Well, you got it. Value bargain deals. Love your content. Hope to continue to see your business flourish. Thank you, Value Bargain Deals. Well, I appreciate that very much. I hope you enjoy the decals. Another 30% off deal here. Sold a glove. I think I bought this from Honest Tim. I think he wanted me to give him like $10, and I was fighting him. I don't know what we ended up getting it, but we made a little bit of money. $27.30 plus shipping. All right, y'all, Turner's got some Commonwealth comedy. What do you got for us, bud?
Why can't you trust Adams?
Why can't you trust Adams? A-T-O-M-S. I don't know why.
Because they make up everything.
I love it, buddy.
Bye.
And since we got so much shipping to do today, I wanted to thank Chris for buying plans for the Commonwealth Picker shipping table over on CommonwealthPicker.com. All right, we got, well, we don't have Turner in here, but Reagan has a couple of thank yous to tell some folks. What do you got?
Chris and Robert got a number 3 Animal Man.
Awesome. So there it is. Number 3 headed your way. Just an update on these. Right now we're selling them just on Dibdit.com on the lives. And we're trying to figure out if we can ship these things with a stamp. Make it cheaper for y'all. So I know a lot of folks have asked about it, but we'll get it figured out. For now, Dibdit.com on the live shows. So, and Carrie and Dave are selling over there, y'all. You're just sitting there being making you feel uncomfortable, huh? Is that Turner?
Yeah.
All right, Turner's here. All right.
Bye, and don't forget to get your stickers at CommonwealthPicker.com.
I think I sold a paintball mask as well, $15.95 plus shipping, but I'm hungry, and that food is ready. And I gotta go pick up Reagan, and then I'll get them in the video. You've probably already seen them in the video a little earlier today, but just wanted to say thank you, as always, for dropping by, and I can't wait to see you next time.
Because you...
I don't know why. Because they make up everything. I don't know why.